About the word theory. This is the textbook, okay? It says, suppose a hypothesis stands, even after years of tests. It is consistent with all data ever gathered, and it has helped us make successful predictions about other phenomena. When a hypothesis meets these criteria, it is considered to be a scientific theory. What a load of garbage, because they don't even apply that to their own theories. That standard is not used for their own theories. We've already talked about one of them, which is the Big Bang Theory. No evidence for it whatsoever. It's never stood the test of time. Why is it a theory? Can you explain that, Iger? Why the Big Bang is a theory when a theory, according to this definition, has to stand after years of tests?
I don't know, bro. You talk to these people, and they're like, a scientific theory is pretty much a fact. Like, when did this happen? When did a theory become a fact? And they'll just keep on going like that, and it doesn't make any sense to me. They just change the definition to, a guess. Basically, your best guess to a scientific theory is not a absolute fact that can predict everything, but it's just because they're so indoctrinated into their paradigm of believing in the Big Bang and evolution.
It's the epitome of brainwashing.
The epitome of brainwashing.
Because you give them the correct definition, but then in the next sentence, you kind of just display the opposite, and it's like you pull the wool over their eyes. You're like, it's like when you go to your best friend, if you were a wicked person, let's just be hypothetical here. I'm not saying anybody would ever do this. Let's say, Iger, do you have a wife?
No.
No. If you did, let's say I said, your wife is great. She's beautiful. You know, she's very faithful. And I love that. You're a great guy. And then in the next hour, I'm in the back room with her, you know, making it happen up in the spot. That doesn't that doesn't mean that I'm telling the truth to you. When I told you that she was great and all this stuff, that was just a lie. See, that's what this is right here. After years of tests, it's consistent with all data ever gathered. I'm your friend. We just want to teach the truth. We just want to teach what science is. Well, they're lying. This is true, what they're saying here, but they want to put that theory word in front of Big Bang, when the Big Bang never happened. So I don't know why they're trying to put theory in it. It's not a theory. Not a theory. This is what they do, okay? They mix science with religion. So, we all know the difference between something that is religious and something is science. So, what they want to do is say that their religion is science. That way they can say that it's the same thing. It's something that we can know and test, but it's not. It's things that are, they're trying to make two things related that actually have nothing to do with each other, like smoking Marlboro cigarettes all day long. You'll never be a cowboy, though. You may smell like a horse, but you're not a cowboy. You're not herding cattle all day. You're not a cowboy just because you smoke Marlboros. And just because you go around teaching the Big Bang Theory does not mean that you know anything at all about science. And I don't care how many PhDs that you have. If you think a dot exploded and produced the whole universe, you're out of your mind. And, yeah. So you have the textbooks and you have all your friends and all your colleagues right now. But how's that going to work out for you on Judgment Day? Talking about the Big Bang Theory, Iger. The word universe is a combination of two Latin words meaning uni and verse, right?
Yeah, single spoken sentence.
Isn't that interesting that the scientist lives in a universe? The scientist lives in a single spoken sentence. Damn, that must bug him before he goes to sleep at night. I would think something like that is totally eating at his soul. It would be me. I don't know how they live with themselves doing what they do. But
I'm
here's the
with you,
next
bro.
page. Number 5. A scientific theory also differs from a law of nature, which describes a phenomenon that has been observed to occur in every circumstance without fail. I mean, are you freaking kidding me right now? Every circumstance without fail. I bet I can think of a theory that doesn't fail. Cell theory. Cells come from cells. Life comes from life. When has that ever been disproven? And why are they still teaching that life comes from non-life? If that's what a theory means, I don't understand why the Big Bang Theory, and evolution theory is in this textbook, because those do not fall under the category of theory. They've not stood the test of time. In fact, the opposite is true. The opposite.
Man, I didn't realize all these were theories. Like the plate tectonics at the bottom, global warming. You said this is a textbook for like the ninth grade or something like that?
It's a high school textbook.
Wow. Global warming.
Yeah, it's all
What's
there.
that? What's on top of global warming? Well, evolution, the
Evolution, yeah.
cell theory, Big Bang, and
They get
atomic
into
theory.
more detail sort of later on, but yeah, theory, they're trying to combine things that do not go good together. One more example, beer and football, not related. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Science, evolution, the two are unrelated. Don't try to put them together or you become a moron. Simple as that. Cell theory, again, all cells come from the division of pre existing cells. That means life can only come from life. It's never been disproven. It's been standing the test of time for over 200 years now since, you know, that Louis Pasteur guy and the other one, I can't remember his name. They got together and figured it out pretty damn quick that it couldn't happen, okay, and it's never happened. So I'm just wondering why it's evolution is considered a theory. Just I'm pretty sure they're lying in these textbooks. It's it's not a mistake. It's not a misrepresentation. It's a lie. It's a lie. Next page. Oh yeah, that's again. It kind of summarizes law of nature, scientific theory. They're a little different, but kind of the same thing. Law of nature is a generalization that describes a consistent natural phenomenon for which there is incomplete scientific explanation. So basically, if the scientists they get together and they this is happening all the time. There's no exception to it, and even if there is an exception, this is generally what happens. So we're gonna stop all funding research for gravity, for instance, and just assume it works and this is what it does, a law. Gravity, it's a law, or whatever else you want to consider a law. If if it always happens and nothing else is ever happening different, they consider it a law. Scientific theory is kind of the same thing, except there's exceptions to it. You know, it's still generally true, but because there's exceptions to the general rule, it kind of becomes a theory because you can't say that it happens in one place all the time. You can just say that it happens in most places most of the time. So there's that. Now let's try to move on. Unless you want to respond to anything, Iger.
Well, I don't want to get into a gravity debate with you, but let's carry on.
Yeah, I know you don't believe in gravity. I already know about you.
And but then they could call that a law, huh? But yet, density, magnetism, these forces will overcome gravity any day of the week. You got a helium balloon goes up, so even the laws can be messed up at some point. After so many people accept the theories as facts, then they can just move on and start making them laws.
So are you native or something, Iger? You seem like you have an accent.
Well, I was originally born in Central America, but I came to Florida in 1990, so I have a little bit of an accent that comes out sometimes.
Well, nice. Central America. You know, in Pangea theory, in relation to plate tectonics, I guess,
Yeah,
they have to
doesn't
remove
exist.
Central America to get them to fit together.
Yeah, I
So
know,
you don't
bro.
even exist.
It's,
How are you
it's
here?
yeah, I'm just an insignificant speck of dust. I'm stardust that came from a nothing explosion in a nothing universe with infinite possibilities, which is all a lie, obviously. This place is very special, Earth. Even the mainstream scientists will tell you they haven't found any life on Earth. I mean, on other planets. So, yeah, it's a very special place. No matter where you put it, I put it in an even more special place because, in my worldview, with geocentrism, flat Earth, this is the only actual solid land. Everything else is just like lights up there. which eventually will go to heaven and will be like spiritual beings.
Peter asks if Pangea is even real.
Well,
Not the Pangea that they're teaching. I don't think it's real, because like I just said, you have to remove Central America. You have to rotate North and South America. North America has to go clockwise. I think it is clockwise, and then South America has to go counterclockwise in order to get them to even fit together. Uh, all the continents have to be shrunk, by a pretty appreciable percentage. They have to be shrunk in order to make them fit.
yeah, I used to believe in Pangea, obviously, when I was a creationist. I mean, not creationist, evolutionist, Big Banger. But now I don't know what to make of Pangea. I would say that before the flood, the world was different, and there is a verse in the Bible. We can look it up. It's in Genesis. It talks about in the days of Peleg, the earth was divided. So it's around the Nimrod event. It's possible
Yeah.
that there was a second division. Obviously, in the flood, there would have been a lot of land division per se, with the dual flood and the fountains of the deep breaking open. And then after the flood, there's a little bit of room for some type of like a Pangea event where it talks about the earth being divided. Is it talking about the actual earth being divided? Because then it says that God divides all the people into different corners of the earth, confounds the languages. Or is it just talking about? I've heard another theory that it's not a Pangea event. It's talking about when Noah divided basically the land among his kids, his three sons. But to me, the like a Pangea like event during the days of Peleg kind of makes a little bit of sense because that would explain why there's kangaroos in Australia, even though there's also the explanation of the land bridges. Fascinating stuff, man. I wasn't there. It's hard to tell for me. I still got to
Yeah.
do more research. Genesis 10:25. And unto Eber were born two sons. The name of one was Peleg, for in his days was the earth divided, and his brother's name was Joktan. So that's Genesis 10:25. Let me see what Chronicles 1:19 say.
Well, his brother must have been a badass because nobody on that entire list gets their brother mentioned. I'm pretty sure they're jealous.
And yeah, and let's see again here it is on 1 Chronicles, First Chronicles 1:19. And unto Eber were born two sons. The name of one was Peleg, because in his days the earth was divided, and his brother's name was Joktan. So twice it's basically the same thing, word by word, almost word by word. But it's just saying, um, and it's weird too because I remember when you're reading Genesis, it's really just saying, this guy had a kid, and then this was his name, and this guy had a kid, and this was his name, and this guy had a kid, and this was his name, and then here it gives you like a little bit of because in his days the earth was divided. So it's interesting.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's like a combination of all three of them. But I'm saying probably 500 to 1,000 years after the flood, there was like a melting of the ice caps, which caused sea levels to rise, and that would cover up a lot of the land bridges connecting multiple continents. That's the basic gist of it.
I think the whole thing with that is they want you to think it happened millions and millions and millions of years ago. And I don't think there would it would have been one supercontinent, but maybe not the way they have it all together, where it's like basically all one landmass scrunched up into like a Australia looking thing, but it could have been just different layout.